Hello there, it's Jill again, and I'm here using my actual voice to talk to you about narrative voice and about the topic of reading aloud. Now, there are 3 times I would suggest in your writing career that you might be expected to read your work aloud. And the first would be if this was a live course, a live program, instead of you doing it online and at a distance. So, first of all, you can consider yourself lucky that you're not in a training room with me and I'm not standing over you and making you read things aloud. The reason I get people to read things aloud, though, is that it makes a huge difference to how you see and feel your words. It's suddenly where you'll notice that there are bits missing, that some of it is overlong and boring, and you'll find that out by the fact that you've run out of steam before you've even got to the end of your sentence, perhaps. So it's very, very useful, and it's also the time when you will start to get physical reactions when you hear the words aloud. So it will amplify, if you like, the feelings that you've started to get already when you read something and you know that it's working. So I won't be getting you to do this in a classroom environment, so you've got off the hook in that respect, but it will help you a lot to read your work aloud on your own, in the comfort of your own home. Now, you may want to explain to people what it is that you're doing, or take yourself off to a private room and do it quietly. But do at least try to put some verve and passion into your reading. Now, the second occasion when you might want to do some reading aloud. In fact, you probably won't want to, because this is when you perhaps join a critique group or a writing group where you get to share your work with other writers. And you may well join one of these in your local community, and you may already be starting to form groups within your online program, which would be lovely. And what critique groups tend to do is you'll take along a piece of work and you will read it aloud. Now, people always say for critique groups that they will share their work beforehand and send it to each other before the meeting, and it almost never happens. And I speak from experience. So you do end up taking your work along. If you've really planned it, you might take a couple of copies so that people can read it from the page and not look at you while you're reading aloud. But inevitably, you will end up reading your work aloud and then getting some feedback from everybody. Now, the third time that you are likely to read aloud is when your book is published, or when you're at the stage of being ready to share it with people who might be readers rather than other writers who are critiquing it. And that's actually a whole new ball game. So there you are, sitting in your local library with your fans at your feet or in the very close distance, and you will then start to read a little piece of your book. Now, not to alarm you, but it does actually take quite a skill to keep an audience enthralled, no matter how good your book is. And really, that's just a question of how long people can concentrate. This is especially the case if you are writing for children, and of course they start to shuffle, and they start to pull your shoelaces, and they start to tell you things about themselves rather than actually listening to you. So your best bet when reading aloud in that situation is to pick a very short piece and then entertain them with other stories about the writing process or about whatever you've gone through or the situation that led you to this brilliant idea, and keep them really entertained in that way. But the art to it all, and the key to it all, is to just take a deep breath, smile, and begin. And there's a reason for that, because it is our natural tendency as human beings to add preamble, to stand up and say, well, I didn't really have very much time to sort this out, and it's not very good, and I'm sure you're going to hate it, but anyway, here we go. And of course, if you suggest to people that they're not going to like it, then you are tempting them to agree with you, whether or not it's true. So try not to tell them ahead of time that they're not going to like it. Be confident, even if you're not feeling confident. And as I say, the key is take a big deep breath, grin, and step in. Your reading aloud will take on a whole new life, and so will your book. your novel will actually start to appear in your head and in the ears of the people who are listening to you as something vibrant and alive. And that's really what you want to achieve. So it's not something we can all do easily, and it's something that takes practice, but it's something that for now you can practice in your own home, in front of your own computer, just reading aloud your pieces to get the measure of your narrative voice choices. So happy reading aloud.